Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be making a magnesium beard and body balm. So I've got all the ingredients here. First I want to say thank you to everyone that has messaged me to say that you are going to pledge to the crowdfunder for the CPSRs. I realise I put it up at a really bad time for people having money to spare, but those of you that have said you'll try and pledge before the end of the month, that's fantastic. We will still need more to reach our goals, so if you do want fast, flexible, affordable CPSRs, then please go and check out that campaign. I will link it below. How's my launch, I guess you're asking? It was good. It wasn't amazing, and this is the reality of small businesses and the fact that I'm not live on TikTok every day and I don't really do social media much. I tend to only just do YouTube, and the results sort of spoke for themselves in that respect. But I did get enough orders that I was happy. There is still product left and the reviews are starting to come in and people are loving the scrubs. So if you want to grab one for yourself or for a Christmas gift, then do. I have scents that go with the bath bombs, so if you want to sort of match scrub and bath bomb to send as a gift, then we can do that. I will be talking a little bit about other things I've been doing the past week, but for now, let's get formulating this balm, and the formula, as always, will be on Patreon, and that's linked below as well. Switching to voiceover now, we're going to start making this, and a magnesium balm is said to help with muscle relaxation and pain relief, improved sleep, to reduce stress and for better skin health. And it is also said to help promote a fuller, healthier beard. So if you have a beard, give it a go. This was very requested over on Patreon, so hopefully you'll all like this formula. I have missed off an ingredient on this board, which I realise when I put it in the water bath, so I'll tell you what that is when we get to it. First of all, I'm using shea butter. This is moisturising. It's also quite a soft butter. You could use any other butter you liked, but bear in mind if it's quite hard, then the balm won't be as soft or easy to spread. So we'll just put that in the jar here. Then we have coconut oil. This is unrefined raw coconut oil, and this is sort of a must for a balm because it will help with the consistency, and also it's supposedly very moisturising. Then I've got some beeswax. If you want a different wax, you could use a different wax if you want to make it vegan. Just bear in mind you might need to tweak the percentages because they all have sort of a certain hardness. This is kind of where people would usually stop with the oil phase, but obviously with magnesium oil, we need an emulsifier. And that's what you failed to see me put in here, but I put in later. So you also need your emulsifying wax. And the reason you need this is because the magnesium oil is made from a 50-50 blend of water and magnesium chloride. And you boil those together to dissolve the magnesium chloride, which looks like this. And then you end up with this sort of oily feeling water mixture. And people get confused because of the name oil, but it's not an oil, it is still water. And although this is sort of a water in oil emulsion, we do still need to emulsify it a little bit. The beeswax is not going to do that for you. So I just used normal emulsifying wax. You can use any emulsifier you like really for this. Just bear in mind you might get a bit of soaping if you use one that is sort of particularly emulsifying like that. I think EcoMulse produces quite a lot of soaping, so you might want to avoid that. But any emulsifier, use it around 25% of the total oils, and you should be fine. You might actually get away with a little bit less because it is a water in oil emulsion. And then this little beaker I'm showing now is my fragrance, which I'm going to add later once this is melted down. To melt it down, you need a water bath with about 1 to 2 inches of water. Once that's melted down, take it off the heat, and we're going to shear mix it with an immersion blender. I'm only doing a small amount, so I get a few bubbles, but if you do a bigger amount, it will be better. Stir that round, let it cool a little bit so it's still liquid, and then you can add your fragrance. Stir that around by hand really well, and then you can just pour into your little jars. And then I suggest putting it in the fridge to set, so it cools down quickly and you'll avoid graininess. And you can see it goes on very balm-like, and it goes into the skin really nicely, and then it doesn't feel greasy or any residue. Okay, so that's how you make magnesium balm. Sorry, I forgot to show the emulsifying wax. That is quite important. I know you see a lot of people online just make it with beeswax and then they whip it up and then let it solidify before it can separate, but it will separate over time, so you do need that emulsifying wax in there to keep it emulsified, because magnesium is made from water. You should also put a preservative in it. I know it has salt content from the magnesium, but it's not necessarily high enough to protect your product, so I would include an oil-soluble preservative in it as well. I added phenoxyethanol EHG because it's good for oil-based products. There you go, and you can just do this, and you can make it as soft or hard as you like. If you reduce the beeswax, then just make sure you're upping the butter, and then make sure your emulsifying wax is enough to emulsify. This is my first time experimenting with magnesium balms, so I am going to put a lot more information and resources in the blog that will be on Patreon along with this formulation. Obviously, if you're going to sell this as a product to customers, you need to have claim testing done. You can't just say it reduces pain or it heals things without proper testing, because a lot of these ingredients do say, oh, we do this, that and the other, and they don't necessarily. So make sure you always do proper testing, and then you have the proof to back it up. Otherwise, this week I have been trying out new scrub recipes. This is a Himalayan pink salt one, and I'm trying the fragrances in that, so I'm testing those out to get CPSRs to launch those. I have some other fragrances which I'm planning to launch as well. I'm pretty much just sort of thinking about what I want the business to be going forward, and I think primarily I'm known for helping other businesses and doing the regulation work and doing things like that. So for the most part, online you're going to see me doing formulas for YouTube. The formulas themselves will be on Patreon, so you can watch the video of how it's made, and then if you want the PDF with the percentages and grams, you can go to Patreon for that. And I will be offering my regulation and admin services on the website, and then there will be product sales. Product sales, I'm not going to be doing like lives and things like that and promoting them in the standard way, because I'm old and I don't really want to get into that hustle side of it. I'd rather just put them somewhere and say they're there if you want them. The best way to do that, sadly, is to use third-party marketplaces, so I'll probably be doing that. They will be on my website to purchase as well, and I will of course let you guys know when there's new products. There is a shop link under YouTube, so you can go directly to the product you like from there as well. Sadly, I can only sell to the UK at the moment because I'm only set up with the regulations to sell in the UK. That may change in future, but right now just UK sales. And then once I'm set up to offer the CPSRs, I will be doing videos for each product that I'm going to sell, and then the result from that video, because they will be assessed, will be available for you to purchase. That way you can see if you like the product before you commit to buying the CPSR. And obviously it will just be a version of, because I'm going to offer a lot of flexibility within the making of them, so you can truly make them your own, but it will give you a good idea of the base formulation of it and whether you're going to like customizing that or not. I sort of explain myself quite a lot about what I'm doing in my business, because I feel like in my first business it was very clear. I used to sell braiding extension hair, and that was what I was known for. That is all I did. I focused on one thing and I did it well, and that is what any good business person will tell you to do, and it does work. We did very well doing that, but the business that I'm doing now is very complex, and when people ask me what I do, it's hard to explain in one sentence, and if it's hard for me to explain, it's going to be hard for customers to understand. So I need to kind of sort it out so that it's obvious that I am sort of like the go-to for people who need help with cosmetic regulations and admin, and I think that is what Reviga is primarily. And then obviously I sell products because I enjoy that, and I also want to make stuff and show you guys on YouTube, and it sort of all knits together nicely, but I need to find a way to present it, and that's where the self-sabotage came in, because and I know I did a little poll on YouTube, and it was an overwhelming yes. You all self-sabotage in business, and it's a little bit like imposter syndrome, but you do something and it goes well, but then you question whether to continue doing it. And it's the worst thing, because the more you just don't give something a chance, the more likely you are to fail, because you're not giving anything a chance. So I'm going to give everything a chance. I've just got to find the right places for it. And as another YouTuber pointed out recently, you don't always have to go for millions and millions of pounds when you start a business. You can make it as big or as small as you like. If you just want to make a modest income that just sustains yourself so that you're comfortable, do that. You don't have to be a millionaire, as much as all of these YouTube gurus would have you think. So do it for you, not for what society expects you to be. I also want to say thank you to all the small businesses who bought from me on my launch. I was quite overwhelmed, because when you launch something, you sort of expect, oh, you'll get support from the people you know, and that's pretty much it. But it wasn't friends, it wasn't family that purchased. It was other small businesses who had nothing to gain from purchasing, nothing to gain from leaving me good reviews. And they have. And they placed some of the biggest orders, and I've had some really lovely feedback from them. And I just want to say thank you to this community, because it is so amazing. Coming from a business that was a generalised product that anyone could sell, where everyone was very competitive, and it was just cutthroat competition. So you felt very alone, and it was all very stressful. This is just such a lovely industry to be in, because everybody's very supportive, and as long as we're all doing something very different and we're focusing on our own products and being unique, there's nothing to worry about in terms of competition. And I recommend these businesses all the time to my customers if they're looking for something specific, and it's just lovely. And I wanted to say a massive thank you to you guys. You know who you are. Thank you for those leaving reviews on the website. It really helps me. If you have bought something and you haven't left a review, please do so. It really help. And I think that's about it for this week. I'm sorry it's a bit of a short and sweet video. I hope you like the formulation. I will be back to doing more regular formulas and make more interesting videos coming up, but it's been a very busy few weeks, so I'm just sort of getting back into the swing of things. If you want the formula, it's on Patreon, link below. If you want to pledge to help us get CPSR's launch, link is below, and I'll see you in the next one.